Come sit with me for a moment. Just for a moment. Not because you need advice, not because you need answers, but because sometimes the most healing thing in the world is being allowed to exist. Without explaining yourself. You don't need to be strong here. You don't need to perform calm. You don't need to smile to make anyone comfortable. Just sit, breathe, and let the noise soften, even if only slightly. I know how unfamiliar this feels. Being invited into a space where nothing is demanded from you. No fixing, no proving, no pretending. Just presence. If you're listening to this, chances are you've mastered the art of carrying pain quietly. You've learned how to smile on command, how to say, "I'm fine," even when your chest feels heavy. How to keep moving because stopping feels more dangerous than continuing. You've been the dependable one, the understanding one. The one who stays, even when staying costs you something. Not because you didn't see the warning signs, but because you believed love meant patience, effort, and endurance. That belief shaped you. It didn't break you, but it did leave marks in places no one ever checked. Let me say this slowly, because this matters more than anything else I could say tonight. Nothing about you is broken. Not your heart, not your longing, not your ability to feel deeply. The fact that you can still hope after everything you've lived through is not weakness. It's courage. Quiet courage. The kind that doesn't announce itself. The kind that survives without applause. I imagine you right now in one of those quiet hours. Maybe early morning before the world asks anything from you. Maybe late at night when the house is finally still. Those are the hours when thoughts grow louder. When memories return without permission. When questions surface that you never ask out loud. Why did I love harder than they did? Why did staying feel natural to me, but optional to them? Why do I still feel after everything? You don't need to answer those questions here. You don't need to solve them. Just let them sit with us. I'm not above you. I'm not ahead of you. I'm sitting beside you. Because I've seen what happens when people confuse uncertainty with passion. When inconsistency gets labeled as chemistry. When emotional distance starts to feel normal. Over time, you adapt. You lower expectations. You convince yourself that wanting stability means asking for too much. When in truth, all you ever wanted was someone who didn't disappear. That kind of love creates a specific kind of exhaustion. Not loud, not dramatic, quiet, heavy. It teaches you to brace, even during good moments. To enjoy happiness carefully. To love with one foot already preparing for loss. And if that feels familiar, hear this gently. Love was never meant to train your nervous system to expect abandonment. Somewhere along the way, without anyone saying it directly, you learned to accept absence as part of affection. You learned to fill gaps, to explain silences, to be patient when patience was costing you peace. Slowly, staying became your responsibility alone. And that is a weight no heart was meant to carry by itself. I'm not here to judge the choices you made. You made them with the heart you had at the time. A heart that wanted connection, warmth, partnership. A heart that believed love could grow if you nurtured it enough. That belief is not something to be ashamed of. It deserves respect. Real love does not require you to disappear. It does not demand that you shrink. It does not punish honesty with silence. And it does not vanish when life becomes inconvenient. I know part of you is listening carefully, cautiously. You've heard beautiful words before. You trusted them before, and maybe that's why you're careful now. That caution is not bitterness. It's wisdom earned the hard way. You've lived long enough to understand that love isn't proven by promises, but by presence, by consistency, by someone staying emotionally available, even when things aren't smooth. After a certain point in life, love stops being about excitement and starts being about safety. And when someone leaves now, it doesn't just hurt, it disturbs peace. And peace, once learned, is precious. You worked hard to build a life that functions. You learned to enjoy your own company. You created routines that keep you steady. So when someone enters that space, it isn't to rescue you, it's to walk alongside you. And when they leave, the ache isn't dependency. It's disruption. You may blame yourself in subtle ways. Replaying conversations. Wondering if you were to open, to calm, to available. Let me be clear. Needing stability is not asking for too much. Wanting someone to stay emotionally present is not a flaw. Quiet love feels different. It doesn't spike adrenaline. It doesn't keep you guessing. It doesn't activate fear. It simply stays. And when you're not used to that, staying can feel unfamiliar, even suspicious. You may find yourself waiting for the other shoe to drop. That waiting isn't intuition. It's memory. Love that stays doesn't make you earn your place. It doesn't require endless understanding. It doesn't vanish when you speak honestly. It feels like exhaling, like your body finally realizing it doesn't have to brace itself anymore. Your shoulders soften. Your breath deepens. Your thoughts slow. That's not coincidence. That's safety. And here's something you may not want to hear, but need to. You are not too late. That thought slips in quietly, disguised as realism. But it isn't truth. It's fatigue. Your heart didn't expire with time. Your capacity for love didn't disappear. It became more intentional, more aware, more selective, and that doesn't make you less desirable. It makes you deeply valuable to the right person. You are not competing with anyone. Love is not a race you missed. It arrives when two people are ready to recognize it. And readiness has nothing to do with age. For now, you don't need answers. You don't need clarity. You don't need to decide anything. If all you do is stay here, breathe, and allow yourself to feel a little less alone, that is enough. Stay here with me a little longer, because there's something your heart hasn't been told enough. Something it learned to forget in order to survive. You've spent so much of your life adjusting, adapting, understanding, and enduring that you forgot how it feels to be met without conditions. You forgot how it feels when love doesn't arrive with confusion attached, when it doesn't test your patience, when it doesn't quietly ask you to sacrifice your peace just to keep it alive. After everything you've lived through, your heart no longer wants to be impressed. It wants to feel safe. It wants to know that when it opens, it won't be punished for its honesty. That when it speaks, it won't be met with distance. That when it rests, it won't be abandoned. This isn't fear talking. This is wisdom. This is a heart that has learned what it can no longer afford to lose. You've already proven you can survive disappointment. That's not the question anymore. The deeper question is whether you should have to. Whether love is supposed to feel like constant recovery. Whether choosing someone should mean preparing yourself to be left somewhere along the way. You accepted that emotional instability was just part of the experience. But it isn't. It never was. Love that stays doesn't keep you alert. It doesn't force you to read between lines. It doesn't make you measure your words or shrink your needs. It doesn't disappear when you express vulnerability. It doesn't make you wonder where you stand. It shows you, quietly, consistently, without ceremony. You might notice that the idea of that kind of love feels unfamiliar, almost unreal. Not because it doesn't exist, but because you've spent years navigating relationships where uncertainty was normal. Your nervous system adapted. It learned to associate intensity with connection, unpredictability with passion. So when something calm appears, it doesn't feel exciting at first. It feels empty, or suspicious, or too good to trust. But calm isn't empty. Calm is regulated. Calm is what happens when your heart doesn't have to defend itself. Calm is what happens when you stop mistaking emotional chaos for depth. And when you've lived long enough, you begin to crave that calm more than any spark. There's a version of love that doesn't rush you, doesn't test you, doesn't require constant reassurance. A love that doesn't need to be proven daily because its presence is steady. A love where silence isn't threatening, space isn't abandonment, and closeness isn't conditional. That love doesn't announce itself loudly. It settles. It becomes part of your rhythm. It lets you breathe differently. And here's something important. You didn't become cautious because you're afraid to love. You became cautious because you learned the cost of loving without safety. That caution isn't something you need to overcome. It's something the right person will respect. You don't need to soften your boundaries. You don't need to lower your standards. You don't need to convince yourself that wanting consistency is unrealistic. Wanting someone who stays is not asking for too much. It's asking for the minimum. If you ever catch yourself thinking, I should be past this by now, pause. Healing doesn't run on a schedule. Love doesn't expire because time passes. The desire for connection doesn't disappear just because you've learned to live without it. And choosing not to settle doesn't mean you're alone forever. It means you finally know what costs too much. You are not behind. You are not late. You are not unfinished. You are becoming more precise about what your heart needs. And precision isn't desperation, it's clarity. There are people who no longer want drama, no longer want emotional guessing games, no longer want to confuse intensity with intimacy. People who value calm evenings, honest conversation, emotional maturity. People who don't want to be entertained, but understood. And the person who speaks that language isn't defined by age. She's defined by depth. That's you. You may worry that your heart has been through too much, that you're slower to trust, that you observe before you open. But those aren't flaws. They're boundaries shaped by experience. And the right presence won't rush you through them. It will meet you there. You don't need to change who you are. You don't need to become more hopeful or less guarded. You don't need to imagine a perfect future. All that's being asked of you right now is to not close, to stay just open enough to remember that you deserve gentleness. There is dignity in staying with yourself, in not rushing away from your own feelings, in allowing your heart to rest without demanding answers. You've been strong for a long time. Strong in silence. Strong in adaptation. Strong in the way you kept showing up even when no one noticed how heavy it was. But strength doesn't mean standing forever. Sometimes, strength is choosing to sit, to pause, to let yourself be human without fixing anything. If tomorrow, nothing feels different, that's okay. If it takes time for these words to find their place inside you, that's okay too. Healing rarely announces itself. It arrives quietly, the way calm does. Without proof, without permission. You don't need certainty to remain open. You don't need guarantees to keep your heart soft. You only need permission to not close, and you already have that. Stay. Not because you're waiting for something to happen. Not because you owe anything, but because staying with yourself, breathing, allowing, is sometimes the most loving thing you can do. You are not forgotten. You are not replaceable. You are not asking for too much. You are simply asking for love that stays. And that is reasonable.